Every now and then, for whatever reason, God asked me to just give you guys a little bit of an update on what's going on in our missions because, I think it's important. All these things started from nothing. It was not a vision of mine even. Nobody could take the credit. I had no vision for these things. If you know me long enough, I'm here 18 years, the way I operate is what he says I do. I don't have an agenda. I don't have a mission statement. Yeah, I do have a mission statement. What he says I do. And I think you should really, I'm not telling you how to conduct yourself as a believer. You have your own personal relationship with God. But I think that would be a great mission statement for all of you. The greatest sermon ever preached, and there's a lot of good sermons, but the greatest by far is the Sermon on the Mount. Nothing will ever compete with that sermon. But the second best sermon was Yeshua's mom. Yes. And her sermon was real short. Whatever he says, do. Remember? I wish more believers would just not operate in their own ideologies and their own ministries and just follow the cloud. So I just want to show you what's going on a little bit. We have some pics for you to see. So this is Australia. And I don't have a lot of time. We could talk about each one of these for 20 minutes, but we obviously don't have that time. I just want to tell you, I met Arnie in Australia. He was just playing guitar at a church that I was preaching at. And the Lord spoke some things to him prophetically, and he could not believe it. But now it came to fruition. And he's making an impact all over Australia. He's, in fact, they're starting a Messianic seminary. And he's involved with the government there. And the government, if you think our government is liberal, you have no idea. You have no idea. Right now in Western Australia, if a person just comes up to you and they're thinking about becoming transgender, and you just have a conversation with them, 1 year in jail for you, even if that person is your child. So this is where the world is going. But anyway, they're doing phenomenally well, and I'm so proud of them. I'm just so proud of him. I'm so proud of you. I know you're probably watching. Next up is India. Now, these are, if you know how India works, in Southeast India where I go, this is a caste system. So these are still the Dalits. You got the Brahmins, the priests, and their job is to carry out the dung from the villages. We started with Samuel in a mud hut with his wife and no children at the time. And now we have 200 pastors and with 200 congregations, and we have 1,500 new believers, new Dalits. And over the last month, we fed 150,000 families, 150,000. I can't read you his email, but he just said to me, I was a dead dog. He was really suicidal at the point when I met him, and he'll admit that. I'm not speaking out of tune here. And he said, now, Rabbi, they put me on TV a few times. And he said, I'm famous, although he's so humble. These guys are so humble, they won't even say my ministry. They always refer to it as his ministry. Never my. And it's unbelievable what goes on down there. It's rural, man. It's the jungle. Right now in Southeast India, I don't know if you're aware of it, but thousands and thousands of people are dying of COVID. Every day. Every day they're just dying in the streets. There's nowhere for them to go. And everybody's so close, it's spreading like crazy there. I mean, a little local crematorium, which used to burn 2 bodies a day, now burning 150 bodies a day. So keep them in your prayers. Next up is Kenya. Also, these were throwaways. These are kids without parents. A lot of their parents died from AIDS. These were throwaways. And I'm just going to tell you something. This is just the truth, okay? Nakuru, the biggest slum in the world is in Nairobi. And a mile away from the slum, guys are driving Mercedes. So people are oblivious to their own. We're living in a time that it's so shameless and so selfish like never before. I've never seen, I'm 62 years old. I grew up in a different time, post-World War II, when everybody was looking to help each other. Now it's me and mines. Just horrific. There's so much going on in Kenya. I could just tell you that we're taking the message out of Kenya We're in Rwanda, we're in Uganda, and we're in Ghana. And Stephen broadcasts now. He has a whole broadcasting. It's unbelievable. We're building buildings. Now, this might not look like our building, but trust me, this is the Taj Mahal in Kenya. And we're building congregations, and we have programs, and we're drilling water for people. It's unbelievable what you guys are doing. And the online people. We could never pull this off without the online people. When God said get the camera, I was, you've heard the story, I was totally opposed to it. I didn't want to be on camera. I didn't want to be recorded. I was concerned that I make mistakes. I just didn't want to. But without that camera, we wouldn't have online people. Without that camera, some of you wouldn't be here. Just stand if you moved here from out of state. Look around, guys. And these are all the pastors that are under our umbrella. It's insane. It's just insane. And let me tell you something. You have never met humble people like these guys. I couldn't even begin to describe it. But they're nothing like American pastors. Forgive me, but it's just the way it is. I have a different perspective. When a kid here says they're starving, that means it's 11 o'clock and they didn't have breakfast. When somebody there says they're starving, they're dying. They're dying. A little different. It's amazing what's going on. Stephen, you're probably watching too. We just went to Ethiopia. That's next. We started 3 congregations there. And most of these are Jewish people who are persecuted. They didn't make it over to Israel. They're the Beta Israel group, and they're still being persecuted. There's villages where if somebody gets sick, they say it was because a Jew gave them the evil eye. And they beat them and torture them. And so out of nowhere, 3 congregations open up, and people are being saved and baptized on a regular basis. It's unbelievable. Of course, you know about Neve Michael. I mean, we've probably donated, I don't know, the accountants know, I can get a number for you, but well over $1 million to them, and metamorphosized their whole place. It's like no other children's village. These are 300 kids that have been abused that are now being healed like nobody's business. I think we have a little video, a quick little video, do we?
What a blessed opportunity I have right now to thank all of you for making Neve Michael the beautiful, wonderful, loving home for children at risk that it is today. And I must tell you, there are many homes in Israel. There are many homes in the world, residential homes for children at risk, but there is no other home in Israel, in the whole country, like Neve Michael. Neve Michael is the only home that has so many vital services. The Children's Crisis Center, emergency, the Teenage Girls Crisis Center, the Special Ed School, the Family Home, the Daycare Program, the External Crisis Center for families at risk, and all of these people come from all over Israel. All of these children, all of these families that we love, support, save. We are crying with happiness, and this could not have happened without you.
I just want you to know this is a place that's very lean. I'm not pointing the fingers at anybody else, but we have, 4 staff. The size of our congregation, we could have 30 staff, 40 staff. But if we have 30 or 40 staff, then the funds would go to payroll. We couldn't do these things. So sometimes when you call and you wonder why it might take a little bit to get back, that's because 1,000 people are calling. It's overwhelming. Roxanne and Regina work very hard. They're not, just answering the phone. They're just not answering the phone. They eat at their desk sometimes, and I work them, because God keeps giving me ideas, and I call them and say, we need to do this, need to do that. And every time I call, I know they're shaking when they answer the phone. I know they are. And I know you probably, the two of you, say a couple of choice things about me, but that's okay. I wouldn't be the first one that said that. And also, you should know about Foster Foundation. Bill Foster and I teamed up together, and we're partners. I think I'm on the board there. What we're doing with these iPads, I want you to know something. I'm just going to share this with you, okay? These kids are severely mentally challenged. And you might wonder, what happens to mentally challenged kids, Rabbi? A child that can't make a decision, that doesn't understand sin and repents, all those mentally challenged kids are in the kingdom. And when the kingdom comes, they will not be mentally challenged anymore. And for any of you watching that might have lost a child, I want to tell you something. You lose a child at 2 or 3, you're going to have that child back when the millennium kingdom comes. But the good news is that you're going to have them forever, and you'll never have to take them to a children's hospital or a cancer ward ever, ever, ever again. They're in the kingdom. Let me show you a quick, little quick video of what these iPads that we're sending are doing to these kids, giving them life.
אני לא רוצה משהו אחר. גן, שרנו ורקדנו.
וואי, שרתם ורקדתם.
הרמנו על כיסא, אכלנו עוגה טעימה, היה כיף, שמח.
These are the least of them. Yeah. And you're bringing them life and purpose. I mean, it's nice to preach to people, keep feeding them, but some people are just too fat sitting in the pews. You know? Yeshua is coming back in his Father's glory, and his recompense is with him, and he's going to repay everybody for what they've done, not what they believed. We just sent Neve Michael $75,000. We just sent for 500 more. 25,000 for 500 more iPads, and we're doing another mission with these wheelchairs. These wheelchairs are $10,000, custom wheelchairs. But we have a connection with a ministry called Hopehaven, and I have a connection to send them over for free to Israel. So we're going to be doing that in November again. So this is what you're doing. We could not, I mean, I know this is trite because you hear it all the time, but I'm telling you, it's impossible to do it without you. It's not possible. You know what I mean? The funds don't come from the air. Nobody signs a check. Yeshua HaMashiach. You know what I mean? God works through us. And last but not least, I want to feature something. Chris Yorn, who, I don't know how long you guys been coming here. Where are you? Are you guys around? How long you guys been coming? Like 15 years? 15, 16 years, I think, yeah. Yeah, from West Highland, way back. And they've been wonderful. Kim, I speak to a lot. Chris, I don't speak to too much. He's a quiet guy. But every year I would ask him, you know, what do you need? He has a beautiful ministry. What do you need? What do you need? And he would always say, I'm covered. Not out of pride. He was being honest. He's covered. If he's covered, he's covered. You know? There's times people send in big checks and we send them back. Because we're covered, we're covered. But this year I asked him, and he's doing something. So I want to show you a quick video and let you know what we're doing. So this is the last one. It's 7-mile camp. Consists of 30 acres, a 5-acre pond, 5 cabins, 6,000 square foot dining hall with athletic facilities, and you saw the zip line, rock wall, and so on and so forth. It says here that we are 100% committed to being debt-free, and so Chris made a list. All of the labor is donated to the facility. But he made a list of things he needs, septic tanks, and the list added it to $80,000. So, Chris, I want you to know that yesterday a check went out to for $80,000 to you. So, you should, you guys online, especially because you don't even get to drink the coffee here, right? You guys should be very proud and very protective of this place. I've been around all over the world, and I'm not saying there's not other good places, because there are, and I'm not saying there's not other good leaders, because there really are. But this is just one of them. And you should be very proud of what God's doing here through you guys. Amen?